Now guys, so I haven't done a video for a while on the personal testimony of mine and how I came to find God eventually in my life. So I think I'd like to continue with this tonight. Yeah, so I haven't been posting a lot of videos, I must be honest. Life's been a whole lot tougher than I thought it was going to be. But I can tell you one thing, Jesus said it wasn't going to be easy, and it's not. You get persecuted for righteousness' sake, same as how Jesus was persecuted in his life, and the prophets before him, like he said. But anyway, so yeah, so now I'm at this position in my life and I'm starting to make a bit of money, and I'm sort of, for the first time in my life, I'm actually looking after myself, and I'm actually not, I won't say doing too bad, but you know, I'm surviving. I'm surviving. I've got a car, and so yeah, I dated this girl. She was studying at Stellenbosch at the time, and I was a young, energetic guy who honestly wanted to make life a success, and I worked hard. I worked hard. Like, man, I think at that stage there was like 172 working hours in a week, and some weeks we pushed overtime, or some months, in a month. And some months we pushed overtime 180, 190, 200 odd hours. So you can work out the amount of time we spent at work. Yeah, we worked there. We worked hard. But you know, like, so in this relationship that I was in, there's always lies and deceit and cheating. And you know, the thing about me that I've picked up in life is I see a lot more than what I say. Maybe it's wrong. Maybe I came to a point in my life where I wasn't straightforward enough, and I was a very, very straightforward guy. And then at some point in life, I thought, you can't be this straightforward, because then you have nobody around. And maybe that's how you should be. Maybe you should be like I am now. Be honest, and rather be alone, but you're honest, than living a lie and telling people what they want to hear. If people do you bad, then tell them so that they know. And if they don't stick around, they don't deserve to be around, to be quite honest. If people can't deal with who you are, then they don't deserve you. And now you should say what you feel. I honestly believe that today. As hard as it is, like I said, I've been facing some difficult times in my life. Now, this is probably the most difficult thing I ever had to face in my life. But I'm going to make it through this, and I'm going to be a hell of a lot stronger than I ever was in my life, because this is the one thing I always feared in my life. And to be honest, like, I spoke to my cousin the other day, and she said to me, George, you always said when I met you, and by the way, my Greek cousin, I only met her when I was 23 years old, so I'm going to get to that in my life story now. She said to me, George, and I always remember you said you didn't want children. And I'll be honest with you, like, I think I still do feel like that, because at the end of the day, look at now, it's a broken home. The kids are suffering because of the adults' choices. And yes, I made a wrong choice, but it takes two to tango. And I'm not going to go into detail about what my wife did. That's up to her if she ever wants to come clean about her part of life. But I will definitely tell you guys exactly what I did. And I'm not going to beat about the bush, because it is what it is. And I was wrong, and I did what I did. And I came clean about it. I wasn't caught. And today I'm facing persecution for my righteousness' sakes. And God said that that's what will happen when you decide to follow me, And hence, here I am, and I'm going about it. But anyway, so I want to continue on this life. So now I'm starting to make a bit of money, and I started drinking, like, severely. Always out and about, drinking and fighting in clubs, and like, I was aggressive there. I was beaten all my life, and finally I'm in a position where I can fend for myself, and I have absolutely no guidelines as to the rules of life, and I'm stubborn as hell. I don't tolerate anything from anybody. I'm ambitious. I mean, nobody can hold me back. At this, my youngest boy's name's Troy, because I had friends back then who, I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Troy, who said, that guy reminds me of you. You're this small, because I am pretty small, but I mean, I'm relentless. I used to be. I'm a lot better now. I've calmed down. I've tamed myself. Even work-wise, I used to be like all or nothing. I must say, with this position I'm being put in now, there's one thing I do good. It's work, and if that's what it gets to, and I think that's pretty much where my life is busy heading again. I'm only going to work. And that's something that I do good. At least nobody can fault me there. So it's probably the one thing I'm going to default back to is just work day and night. And it's just maybe who I am. I don't know. At least I'll be successful in life, you know. But anyway, so I had this opportunity. I mean, I was working for this guy, like I said, and like eventually, I got a job offer, got a couple of job offers because people started noticing me because I was actually pretty good at what I do. And at this stage, I started Googling my surname because I got a very unique surname. And Facebook came out. Well, it was out for a while, but I only caught on later. And so I searched my brother. He's got a different surname from me. He's got my mother's maiden surname because one of my uncles adopted him. I always knew, like, if I searched him, I could find him. And at the same time, also searched my surname because my surname is very unique. And I found this guy in Greece, and I started speaking to him. And now at this stage, I was working away in a small town up country, where I met my next girlfriend, because me and the previous girlfriend sort of out at this stage. And when she went on a tour and she saw another guy on the tour, which I found out when I came back. And you know, like I said, me and her, I cheated, she cheated. It's all I've known my whole life. Like, I've never met somebody that's a straight shooter from day one. Says like, this is what it is. And the problem with me and my type of personality is because I'm an overthinker, is if you leave room for me to think, I fill the gaps myself. And it's not always right, but I fill it. And most of the time I'm right. Like I say, I notice everything around me. I just don't mention everything. And maybe that's wrong. Maybe I should mention what I feel and what I see. And people will start treating me different. And I must say, I've been doing it for the last couple of days. And like I said, it's Friday night. I'm sitting home alone. I don't even have friends anymore because I confront them straight out and they're disrespectful. When you speak to somebody and they speak over you, I speak up. And people don't like that. People don't like it when you say what's on your mind. And if I look back at Jesus, you know, he was never rude or he was never disrespectful. He was a very unique character. He had a very, very charming character, but he was also very, he was straightforward and righteous. And that's why the Pharisees and them, they crucified him, because they couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle him just saying what's right. And I can see it. That's what it means to pick up your cross and follow Jesus. You know, he does say don't go and cause conflict. So you need to be calm and meek and all of that as well. But you know, you need to be upfront. You need to be straightforward. You need to say, like I've read in the Bible somewhere, it says, be straightforward with your speech. And I can tell you, people don't like it. But nevertheless, so there I worked, drinking a lot. And I remember I met a guy, or not met a guy, we were at a pub there drinking one night, and guy smacked me. And it started off, that's just normally how it went. Like, my friends started fighting, and then soon I get involved in the fight, and like, me being me, I normally ended the fights because I'm just that type of guy. Like, once I get going, I don't stop. And so I met the guy, not met him, I saw him a couple of years later in the town. So I punched him, he smacked me, so I tried to get in between a fight. And he smacked me, and then I just lost him. I punched him, but I knocked him hard. And he had this mark on his face. And I actually met him a couple of years later, 4 years later, and he still had this bump in his head. And I actually felt very bad, you know. That's not how you resolve conflict. But also, alcohol is not the best drug out there. I can also guarantee and vouch for that, because alcohol makes you aggressive. And I think it should be banned. I don't think it should be a legal drug. But anyway, a lot of people are not going to agree with me because they drink and they wouldn't want to quit, but that's my feeling about it. So anyway, so I then found my brother on Facebook. I sent him a message, and I found these other Greek people, and I sent them messages, and then some Greek lady started messaging me. And then, like I said, I pick up quick, and halfway through the conversation, I realized, and I said, listen, obviously you know who I am, and I've been looking for who I am for all my life, so I think it's time you tell me who I am, because I want to know. And then she said, listen, I'm going to speak to my father, and I'll come back to you. And that night, I think it was in December, my uncle, he phoned me from Greece, and he said, listen, I'm your uncle, your father had a heart attack, we can't tell him just yet about you, because he just had a triple bypass or something like that. but he was my uncle, and that they lived in South Africa. And I was speaking to my cousin, and I've got another cousin in Joburg, and I was living in Cape Town at the moment. And we started exchanging numbers, and then I came home from the job, and I was here December, Jan, February, March, somewhere there. My brother phoned me. You got my Facebook message, the one in Joburg, and then coincidentally my boss at the time, or the guy I worked for at the time, gave me a job offer to move to Joburg. And like, me and that other girlfriend broke up. Like I said, she was on this tour, and then she had a fling with a guy there, and I obviously met that girl there, and yeah, so again, here we move on. And I then moved to Joburg shortly after because I got the job offer, and I went to go open a branch, and crazy, I didn't even know how to read emails there. Like, I got to stand at 7, but I got ambition. Like, I want to work. I'm not lazy. If you can do it, I can do it. I had that mentality. I still have that mentality in life, and I think that's what a lot of people lack, is they think they can't. There's nothing you cannot do. You can only not do what you don't want to do, or what you believe you can't do. If you believe you can do it, you can do it. So I then went up to Joburg. I met my brother, and drinking, weekends and fighting, and yeah, just the crazy off the charts lifestyle. Not a godly life at all. Go to church on the Sunday, but it means absolutely nothing because you don't have that God-like presence in your heart, and you don't live it out. And not too long, I remember the one day, like, this guy I worked for. I'm a problem-solving type of guy. So you give me the problem, and I go to the solution. I don't get stuck on what the problem is and why. Why doesn't matter. There's nothing you can do about the why. You can do something about the outcome of where you are now. And like, that day he carried on and on, probably half an hour later, and eventually I just smashed the phone down, and I like smashed my head through the door, and I lost it there. And I thought to myself, you know what, crack with this. I went back to the streets, and I just sold drugs, and I don't need this life, and I'm sick and tired, and it's difficult, and it's like, why am I doing this? And I calmed down. My whole face was cut open as I smashed it through the door, and I went to a tattoo shop, and I put a tattoo on my arm with a date of when I quit drugs. And I thought to myself, you know what, doesn't matter how difficult life ever gets, don't give up. Face another day, calm down, try it. Even if you don't work for this guy anymore, you move along. But anyway, so me and him, we got along again, figured our stuff out, got the tattoo. I went on my normal life, and so at some point in life, I decided I'm going to start gymming and quit the drugs. Not the drugs, the alcohol. And again, so stop drinking flat out. My brother and everybody teased me. They said, "No, you can never, you can't." And like, first couple of weeks, first year, second year, fourth year, the third year, and they said, okay, definitely. But then I started using steroids. Big, massive. Now I'm not addicted to steroids, but now I'm addicted to gym again. So it's work, gym, life, and again, me and this girlfriend that I had now, she was living in Cape Town for the first year. Was difficult, and then I met another girl up in Joburg, and I started talking to her, and then one night something happened. I didn't sleep with her, none of those things, but anyway, and then me being me, phoned the girl in Cape Town, tell her what I've done. Obviously very upset, cried, and wasn't happy, and I think I flew down to Cape Town shortly thereafter. And then I said to her, it's difficult because I can't do this long distance thing, it's like it doesn't work for me. And maybe the right thing would have been to say, listen, let's break it off, and you go on with your life, I go on. But anyway, in this time I'm back in Cape Town, I found out she's done about the same thing. So again, deceit and caught, not told, and that's the problem. It's like, nobody ever caught me doing what I do. I always confessed. I always caught the other people doing something to me. So if anybody has trust issues, it's me. At least people know where they are with me because I tell people the truth. And yes, I understand it also hurts, but at least you can trust me because I will tell you whether or not I've done something wrong, whatever that means, But anyway, so I'm in Joburg doing well, business is going well, and then the guy wanted to sell the business, and made an offer for me to come back to Cape Town. Yeah, came back to Cape Town, and me and that other girl, just as we moved back to Cape Town again, another guy, and that night I went with another girl home, and she went with another guy home. I mean, it was just crazy, man. It was crazy. That's not how life is intended to be, but that's the type of life you live if you don't live according to God's values, and if you don't live according to God's standards. And that's why he says that a marriage is built on God first, and then the relationship. And the reason for that is people are different. Like, we all come from different backgrounds, and we all have different things happen to us, and we all react different. But if we all believe in the same God and we live according to the same values, then you have a central point to move towards. And I see that now for the first time in my life. Maybe too late in my life, because it is what it is. I mean, like I said, my wife left. She's adamant she's not coming back. And I think after this, to be honest, what I've endured the last couple of days it's been hell. And I don't think I ever want a woman back in my life, to be honest with you. I'm back on the old George, like the person I used to be. It's like, I'll do just me. I can live with me, and I can look after me, and I can do my life, and not deal with anybody else's, I don't know what you want to call it, but anyway. So, and I'm strongly moving in that direction. I'm a couple of days away from making a final decision of this is my new life, and this is what I'm going to do. And whether it's right or wrong, I don't know. I don't think God meant for us to be alone. But I tell you what, I'd rather be alone than be with somebody that you have to, I won't say forced to love you, but at the first difficult time, run away. Because I believe that doesn't matter what happens to you in life, you choose your tomorrow. You choose how you react to everything in life. And a lot of things happened in my life where I should have given up. I should have walked away. I mean, I look at the previous company I worked for. I was there for 12 years, and a lot of things happened there what I wasn't happy with, but I never left. And it gives you stability. It teaches you something that you don't get taught when you jump. Yes, you jump, you get more money, but there's a fundamental part that doesn't grow if you stay long somewhere. That's stability, and endurance and that sort of thing. But anyway, so I moved back and worked for this company, and I started, I'm not going to mention the name because I'm pretty sure that there was fraud involved in this company, because I started seeing a couple of things, and I started opening my mouth and talking about things that people clearly didn't like me saying. And not long, I was told actually before then, so in between me and this other girlfriend that broke up, we were in a relationship for 6 years. I went off my rockers, and I'm not gonna lie to you, like, I just didn't care. I can't even remember how many girlfriends I saw in that year that passed. I mean, it was like 2 weeks on, 3 weeks off, 2 weeks on, 3 weeks off, and I just didn't care. And that's why I said this time it'll be different. This is my first time that I've now decided, like, this is me back at 16 before my heart ever got broken. So I don't want to be with anybody. Just leave me alone. And that's how my cousin met me. And although I had a girlfriend back then, I always said, like, I don't want kids. And the reason I didn't want the kids is because that's a lifetime commitment. And it's so easy for people to give up, and they don't think about the children. They don't think about the damage it causes to the children. And all it really takes is for two grown-up individuals to be grown up and face the reality and face the struggles and face the difficulties and face your own insecurities and fix them and move forward as a pair in Christ, and that's basically what Jesus says as well. He says, like, we've got to forgive each other. And if you look at today, I think the divorce rate 70%, something stupid. And I mean, do you really want to get married and have your whole life disrupted in a couple of years, or do you just want to rather be on your own and do your own thing? And I mean, I'll be honest, I think the second option is the best option. And I actually some days think back, and I should have just never changed my mind. But nevertheless, so then, yeah, the company I worked for, they basically wanted to get rid of me. And I said, no, it doesn't work like that. I'm not going to resign because you're asking me to resign. Then they tried to fire me for no reason. I mean, some of the charges they laid against me was just stupid, man, stupid. Where I sat with the labor lawyers and the guys in the hearing, and even they said to the guys that charged me, they said, listen, just leave this guy alone because he's got a point here. You know, you are trying to victimize him by doing what you're doing. And I mean, obviously the relationship was broken, so I found another company. The guys in Joburg wanted to employ me long time ago, and again, I could have jumped ship then already because they asked me to do what I did. They asked me a couple of years before, listen, quit where you're working now, we give you a good offer, you go down to Cape Town where you come from and you start a branch there for us, which I then obviously did in 2016. But anyway, this time in life, oh, something I forgot, I need to mention this. And again, this is, I mean, in Joburg I was a biker and I had motorbike and with my brothers and them, and the one day we went up to Sabi Graskop on a bike rally, and I must actually try and post some of the photos. I'll see if I can edit them in here or post them separately on my YouTube, but then you guys can check them out if I find them. There's somewhere on a laptop or something. I was in a horrific bike accident. If I say horrific, I mean horrific. I bled out my eyes, I bled out my nose, I bled out my ears, I had 7 broken ribs, I had 8 skull fractures, I got a plate in my arm here where they did like sort of experimental surgery. I remember signing with my left hand a letter stating that if I can't use my hand, then I can't sue the doctors. And I basically, you have 2 bones in your arm, the one part of the bone is missing. I crushed it in this accident. And again, here I am today. I remember meeting the lady that picked me up from where I had the accident. I saw her 2 years later, and when she saw me, she burst into tears and she said, like, I cannot believe that you're alive, because I said to my husband, you obviously dying. And I remember them trying to feed me out of straws. And again, this good cousin of mine, I found them in Joburg. I didn't have medical aid at the moment, and they paid for my ambulance to move me from where I was to Pretoria, and it was a good sum of money back then. I mean, yeah, good people. They say that's part of why I'm alive today. And I mean, they tried to feed me out of straws. I couldn't eat, I couldn't drink. And the first hospital I was in, they only knew about the broken arm. They never knew about the ribs, the skull fractures or anything. So had I stayed there, I probably would have died as well. But anyway, so I was sent down with the ambulance back to Pretoria. And in that hospital, I was in ICU for a couple of days. I had 3rd-degree burn wounds in between my legs, at the back of my legs. I had a hole in my one leg. Like I said, I've got multiple broken ribs, fractured arm, skull fractures. I was broken. I couldn't walk for 3-4 months. I mean, I walked like this. Couldn't stand up straight. When I got up straight, I couldn't breathe because of all the broken ribs. And so anyway, so I'm in Cape Town, and I think this video is too long now. So I'm gonna continue with where now before I met my wife. Again, another thing that happened to me, and that's why I say only God could have kept me going for so long. And I think He kept me going so long so that I can tell this story. And you know, people going through difficult times in their life, you know, just don't give up. Just don't give up. I'm going through the most difficult time of my life at the moment, and I'm not giving up. And this is going to make me the strongest person I've ever been. But anyway, so I broke my ankle here in Cape Town, and I'm stubborn now. I don't go to the doctor. The next morning I go to work, and then the guy I worked for, his wife said to me, George, you can't look like this, man. Go to hospital. And I went to hospital, fractured ankle, go get a moon boot, get all this stuff, wrap up, and 2-3 weeks later, I was hospitalized because the blood flow stopped in my leg, and I had blood clots in my lungs, and my whole leg was basically, I was going to die that night. And again, God's grace, I wasn't going to go to a hospital. I went to a friend's house, and the people that she lived with, they were adamant that you're not going to go home now. She's going to go with you. You're going to the hospital. You're going to go check yourself out. Because I started getting cold shivers and I couldn't drink my coffee. So I went to hospital, and the doctor said to me that night, he said, George, if you did not come into the hospital, my fever was 41 point something or something like that. He said, if you didn't come in, you wouldn't have woken up tomorrow morning. And it actually took 50 odd drips over the next 5 days to break my fever and to stabilize me and get me sort of on the go again. So I was severely sick and I didn't know that. I kept going to work. I had agonizing pain in my leg. I mean, my wife that I have now at the time, that's around about the time I met her, she kept telling me that when she came to the office, because she worked for a supplier, she kept telling me, you need to go to the doctor, you need to go to the doctor. And like, I said, no, I'm fine. And I would just lie on the ground, lift my leg up, get the pain, and then go on. So, but anyway, I think on the next one, and that'll be the last of my life testimony, is going to be on the next video, is now we're finally going to get to the part where I'm going to tell you guys what I did over the next few years while I was in a relationship and why I am in the position I am today. Yeah, that's it.